On March 9, 2023, a mother arrived at her daughter's home to help with the cleaning. While tidying up, she noticed a freezer in the corner, covered in clutter and dirt from months of neglect. Seizing the opportunity with her daughter out, she decided to clean the freezer, inside and out. As she peeled back the tape sealing the freezer, she expected to find a typical storage of frozen food. But as she pulled out one bag after another of frozen meat, something caught her eye, something that didn't belong. Among the cold cuts, she made a chilling discovery. Her son-in-law, who had been missing for 15 months, was curled up inside. Welcome to Red Eastern True Crime. If you want to hear more true crime stories, please like and subscribe. Let's dive into this story. The missing husband, Pang Hongwei, was a young man with a promising future. Born in 1991 in rural Huainan, Anhui Province, he was the second of 3 sons in a family that worked hard to get by. When Pang was a child, his family moved to Suzhou, Jiangsu Province, where his parents ran a small business. He graduated from Suzhou University as the only one of his brothers to attend college, a major accomplishment for his family, who saw him as their pride and hope for the future. In 2015, after graduation, Pang struggled to find the ideal job in Suzhou, eventually settling for a position at a real estate agency. His family, disappointed by the job choice, thought he could do better, since being a real estate agent had relatively low barriers to entry. However, Pang was driven, and by 2016, he hit his stride. The local real estate market was booming, thanks to government policies, and Pang's hard work paid off with impressive commissions and a promotion. At the company, Pang met a colleague named Zha Dongli, or we will call her Lily, who was 2 years younger. Born in 1993 in Suzhou, Lily came from a relatively wealthy family and was quiet by nature. Pang's success caught Lily's attention, and they began interacting more frequently on social media. Their mutual admiration grew, and on February 20th, 2017, they officially began dating. Outwardly, they seemed like a happy couple. Pang was deeply invested in Lily, often sharing their moments on social media, anniversaries, holidays, and even surprising her with gifts. In 2018, he bought expensive tickets to a concert by Hong Kong singer Jackie Chung. Pang openly expressed his love for Lily, occasionally posting photos of her. However, Lily rarely interacted with Pang on social media after they became a couple. She posted about her own life and thoughts, including celebrity gossip, and occasionally posted negative comments, even using foul language. During their relationship, she once posted, "Maybe one day, I won't be lucky enough to marry for love, but at least I will marry for a life I won't regret." Pang's family found Lily to be reserved, somewhat cold and rarely smiling, which they attributed to her personality. Pang didn't mind and continued to like her, especially since she was from Suzhou, and her family's house was about to be demolished, giving her a material advantage over Pang's family. From this perspective, Pang's family thought he had married up. In 2019, Pang used his savings and some financial support from his parents to buy an apartment in Suzhou. That same year, Lily found out she was unexpectedly pregnant, and they got married. On February 3, 2020, their daughter was born. Pang, thrilled to be a father, shared updates on his daughter's growth on social media. He then decided to have Lily stay home to care for the child while he worked to support the family. Pang became more determined to succeed. Believing in the future of the real estate market, he left his previous job and started his own real estate agency. However, he didn't anticipate the pandemic's lasting impact and the quick downturn in the real estate industry. After their daughter grew, the relationship between Pang and Lily began to deteriorate. Pang's income fell short of their expectations, increasing the tensions in their marriage. They never had a formal wedding ceremony due to Lily's pregnancy and the pandemic, which made Pang feel guilty. So, on October 1, 2020, they held an official wedding ceremony, with their daughter present. After the wedding, they moved into an apartment that Lily's family received after their house was demolished. However, Lily's mood worsened, and she often lost her temper. Just 4 days after the wedding, a major argument erupted when Pang woke their daughter up by entering the bedroom. Lily exploded, venting her anger on social media and portraying Pang as her enemy. Despite Pang frequently helping with childcare, Lily, as a full-time mom, often complained about how exhausting it was. Their conflicts grew over trivial matters. In 2021, many real estate companies faced financial strain, and Pang's new business, which had only been running for a year, was forced to close. His income plummeted. Meanwhile, Lily wasn't worried about finances and became obsessed with watching live streams of internet celebrities. In September 2021, due to pandemic travel restrictions, Pang started a cultural media company to profit from live stream sales. However, his efforts yielded little success. Meanwhile, without Pang's knowledge, Lily spent large sums of money on a male influencer's live stream, becoming his biggest fan. This influencer, also from Suzhou, lived only about 10 kilometers away. When Pang was away working or taking care of their daughter, Lily would watch his live streams obsessively, often giving him gifts through the platform. Over several months, she spent 300,000 RMB, about $45,000, on gifts, gaining the influencer's attention. He even acknowledged her during live streams, and they eventually exchanged WeChat contacts, interacting privately. When Pang discovered their bank account was empty and credit cards were maxed out, he confronted Lily. She admitted to spending the money on the internet celebrity, claiming it was an investment to build her online profile, but that she had been scammed. They argued briefly, and Pang, wanting to avoid further conflict, accepted the situation without telling their families. Instead, Pang sold the apartment he had bought with his parents' help to pay off Lily's debt, hoping to restore peace. He also kept a closer eye on their finances to prevent Lily from spending more on the internet celebrity. In October 2021, Pang told his brother about the debt, marking the first time his family realized the extent of the problem. On November 24, 2021, Pang returned home to Huainan with his family for an ancestral ceremony, but he soon headed back to Suzhou alone, planning to return quickly to help Lily care for their daughter. But what awaited him at home were sedatives and a large freezer prepared by Lily. By December, Pang's family struggled to reach him. He had always been in frequent contact, but now he only replied to texts and ignored calls. Pang's mother grew suspicious and asked Lily about him. Lily explained that Pang had left Suzhou to hide from debt collectors. Pang's family, already aware of his struggles and the sale of their apartment, believed her. After that, Pang's WeChat would occasionally post updates, responding to his family with messages, and sometimes sharing a location to reassure them. During this time, Lily comforted Pang's family, telling them that they had been in touch, and once the debts were cleared, Pang would return. Over the next 2 months, Pang's WeChat continued to send messages requesting money, claiming it was for business or to cover living expenses. Pang's family, though financially strained, sent him money every time, hoping that he would return soon. When the 2022 Chinese New Year arrived, Pang's parents, who hadn't seen him in 3 months, visited his apartment but found no sign of him. Pang's daughter repeatedly asked for her father. Days later, Pang's brothers received more requests for money, and after 3 months with no word from him, the family became increasingly suspicious. They feared that Pang might have been tricked into a pyramid scheme and couldn't get out. After discussing the situation, they decided to report his disappearance to the police. On February 24, 2022, Pang's family filed a missing persons report. Over the next few months, they returned to the police 3 times to check on the investigation. However, it went nowhere. Lily continued to claim that Pang had left to hide from debt collectors, insisting that they were still in contact. She reassured Pang's parents that Pang would return once the debts were cleared. The police, seeing that Lily was not actively seeking her husband's return, did not pursue the case. In the meantime, Pang's family continued receiving messages from him on WeChat. On one occasion, Pang's brother bluntly replied, "I deeply suspect you're not Pang." The brother even defended Lily, asking why Pang couldn't return home to help his wife and take care of his aging parents. Pang's WeChat messages still refused to accept calls. Months passed, and during the 2022 Mid-Autumn Festival, Pang's mother visited Lily, only to learn that Lily had moved out months ago, taking the TV and the freezer. When Lily's mother couldn't reach her, she immediately contacted the police, who quickly tracked down her new apartment. After Lily's mother showed up unexpectedly, Lily appeared visibly upset but refused to explain her actions. Pang's mother, worried about Lily and her granddaughter, decided to visit Lily's new home with the family for the holiday. While having a meal, Pang's brother noticed the freezer in the corner of the room, the same one that had been moved from their previous apartment. He found it strange that the lid was sealed with tape, but didn't ask about it, not wanting to upset Lily. In October 2022, Lily moved back to her original apartment. 3 months later, she brought her daughter to celebrate Chinese New Year with Pang's parents, claiming Pang's debts were nearly paid off and that he would return soon. This brief moment of hope was shattered when, on March 8, 2023, Pang's parents received a message from him saying he planned to return home next month. But the relief lasted only a day. The next day, while Lily was outside with their daughter, her mother discovered Pang's lifeless body in the freezer. Shocked, she immediately called Lily, who rushed back home. Realizing her secret was exposed, Lily confessed to her mother that she had killed Pang and hidden his body in the freezer. At her mother's request, Lily called the police to confess. On the evening of March 9th, Pang's family received the heartbreaking news, and all the strange behavior from Pang's WeChat messages over the past 15 months suddenly made sense. The police arrested Lily immediately, and Pang's body was sent for autopsy, though the exact cause of death has not been made public. However, based on interviews with Pang's relatives, reports suggest that he died from a combination of poisoning and carbon monoxide poisoning, after which Lily moved his body into the freezer. During the 15 months Pang was missing, Lily had swindled 200,000 RMB from his parents, 50,000 RMB from his brothers, and even borrowed 120,000 RMB from her own parents in Pang's name, totaling 370,000 RMB, about $55,000. By the time of her arrest, most of this money had been spent on live stream gifts to the influencer she was obsessed with. Some of Pang's relatives spoke to the media, claiming that Lily told the police she killed Pang due to family disputes, but many people speculated that Lily murdered Pang because he had stopped her from spending money on the influencer, preventing her from pursuing a romantic relationship. After some digging, netizens started to suspect that Lily may have met the influencer in person, and possibly even had a further relationship with him. In response to the growing public pressure, the influencer's company clarified that while they did receive tips from Lily, the amount was nowhere near $45,000, and they only met after Pang's death, so his death had no connection to the influencer. When the media pressed him for more details, the influencer simply stated, "I didn't know she was married." Some netizens also speculated that Lily might have been tipping multiple male influencers at the same time. Throughout the 15 months she lived with her husband's body in the freezer, Lily continued to live with their daughter, frequently sharing her feelings on social media, including this post. "Actually, we don't have a real relationship. That moment of infatuation felt like love. But it was just that, like love." It seemed as though killing her husband had caused her no guilt or emotional turmoil. To those who didn't know better, she appeared to be just another girl caught up in infatuation, completely unaware of the twisted, heartless murderer hiding behind the facade. In the eyes of his family and friends, Pang was always a gentle, responsible young man, one who never indulged in excessive spending or abused anyone. He respected his elders, cared for his wife and daughter, worked hard to support the family, and even took the blame for his wife's mistakes. Tragically, his compassion and tolerance ultimately led to his death, as he could never have imagined the cruelty of the woman he loved. Details surrounding the exact time and circumstances of Pang's murder have not been revealed by the police. However, it is clear that Lily never loved Pang. To her, he was just a tool to sustain her. On December 21, 2023, the Suzhou Intermediate People's Court began hearing Lily's case for intentional murder and fraud. However, no verdict was delivered at the time. Pang's family made it clear they would not forgive her, insisting that she must face the death penalty and repay her debts. Whether Lily will be sentenced to death has become a major topic of public concern. Despite her confession, the gravity of the crime may still lead to a death sentence, as many similar cases in China have resulted in such a verdict. Given the 15 months she lived with the victim's body and the ongoing fraud, there appears to be no remorse on Lily's part. This case has been reported for over a year, but no official verdict has been announced yet. It remains unclear whether the government is attempting to downplay the case, to minimize its social impact, especially considering China's low marriage and birth rates, or if they are trying to avoid sparking further public fear about marriage, instead emphasizing its benefits. What are your thoughts on this case? Please share your views in the comments section. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to hear more stories, please support my small channel by liking and subscribing.